Welcome to KODE Konvos. Today I'm really excited to bring you a special guest. She's an 8 times African gold medalist, and still today she's the fastest distance female swimmer in Egypt's history. Welcome, Hania Moro.
Hi, John.
How are you?
Thanks for the amazing introduction.
You're welcome. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about your role as a professional swimmer, and then more importantly, your role as one of KODE's head swimming coaches. We're really excited to have you here. And I think what we'll start with is, I want to know, why did you choose swimming as your sport?
Okay, first of all, thank you for bringing me onto this podcast. It's a pleasure. Why did I choose swimming?
Yeah.
I didn't really choose swimming.
Okay.
I was basically 4 years old, a little girl who didn't know anything in her life. Her mom took her to club, and she put me into synchronized swimming.
And what's synchronized swimming? Oh, you call it water ballet here?
Yeah, water ballet.
Okay.
That's it, yeah. And I fell in love with the sport.
Okay.
I was obsessed with it. And the coaches were like, you should put your daughter in swimming. You should put your daughter in swimming. She's really fast in swimming, because when you're in the water ballet practice, they make you swim a lot when you're younger, because you need to have good swimming to be able to do the synchronized swimming things. So they were like, you should put her in swimming. And I was like, okay. I mean, I was like 5 years old. I had no choice. I would do what my mom told me. But as soon as I went into swimming, I hated it. I was like, I don't like this sport compared to synchronized swimming, because synchronized swimming is all about like the girls and like the music and like all like the beaded swimsuit. It was just like so much fun. Swimming was just
And it's more artistic, isn't it?
Yes,
Sport.
it's artistic swimming basically. So I was obsessed with the sport, and I was like, I'm not going to swim practice. I don't want to go. Don't put me there. It's not fun. I want to dance. I want to listen to the music. But then I kept doing both sports at the same time. Okay. Till I was like basically 12 or 13.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I did it for a very long time, both
so
together.
5-6 years of both sports.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I swam a couple of swim meets, and I kept like getting gold medals. And then I was like, you know what?
And what age were you at this point?
The first swim meet I started was, I was 11 years old. I was very young. I was still 10. Like I was turning, it was in June of 2007. Okay. And I turned 11 in October. So I was still like 10 years old, literally the tiniest kid.
So you're a synchronized swimmer that started swimming, and what was your stroke, or you did multiple
I
strokes?
did backstroke.
Backstroke?
Yeah, when I was little, yeah.
And you were just gifted? Genetically, mentally, whatever it was, you were just gifted to swim?
Yeah, I love the water. It's just like the only place that I felt like myself.
Okay. And then you started winning gold medals.
Yes.
And at that point, did you realize then that you had something?
No, I still didn't give up on synchronized swimming.
Okay.
Yeah, I still kept doing it for 2 more years.
Right.
And then it was hard to do both, and I had to pick between the 2 sports. But at that time, I just loved the synchronized sport, swimming more. But then I was like, you know what? I think there's future in this sport. Right. And then I picked that sport, and I was like, all right, we're going to do this for the next 15 years.
So you were this is early teenage years, so 13, 14, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So what was, when you started competitive swimming and backstroke, right?
Yeah, I did backstroke for, from 11 years old till 16. Okay. Yeah.
So what would you say is your major, in that time, your first achievements where you start to realize, I have something, I can perform well?
It's just like the feeling. When I was 13, this is how it works in swimming. You compete under 11, under 12, under 13. Okay. And then there's like the older people league, which is like everyone starting like 17 and older, they compete together. Right. When I was 13, I would do the under 13 swim meets, and then a week later I would do everyone's, like the older people swim meet. And I was 13, and I would win. So
13, you're now competing with under 17s or older than 17?
Like once you're 17, 18, there's no under 17, under 18. It's 17 and above. So
you were competing above 17?
Yes. Oh, and wow. I was winning. So this was like the turning point in my career when I was in Egypt, because it was like you're literally 13 and you're competing with the older women, and you're like placing in the top 3.
And why do you think that was? Why were you competing at such a high level at such a young age?
Because I could. My times were like qualifying me to like compete with the older people.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And so during that time when now your coaches must have been telling you how good you were,
Yeah.
and obviously recognition from winning medals.
Mm-hmm.
So out of that, what was the biggest achievement that you felt during that time?
like the biggest achievement that I won, like
And it doesn't have to be a medal.
Yeah.
It could be an experience or just
when I was 15, I just turned 15.
right.
We had Arab Games in Qatar,
Okay.
2011. I was the youngest swimmer in the Egyptian with the Egyptian team.
Okay.
I was only 15 years old. I was very excited to go to such a big meet. It was, like Arab Games are like a mini Olympics. It's
Yeah.
all the sports, but only the Arab countries.
Okay.
So I was just like so excited to see all like the fast swimmers and just like walk around and see like Oussama Mallouli. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a Tunisian Olympic gold medalist.
Right.
So I was like, oh my God, we're gonna see him. That's so exciting. And I was so young and just like excited to be there. I won the gold medal in 200-meter backstroke.
Wow.
And I broke my own record, and it was the Egyptian record.
Yeah. So
basically.
you're 13 years old.
I was 15 at that time.
15 years old.
Yeah.
And you just broke the Egyptian record for the
200-meter backstroke, and I won the Arab Games.
and then won the Arab Games.
Yeah, it was just like,
And what did your mum say?
my mom was there actually. She
Okay.
never came to swim meets. Like when I started traveling when I was 12, she never came to swim meets outside of the country, but she decided to come to that one. She was just like, what just happened?
Yeah. I bet.
Everyone was just like, what just happened?
So your team, your coaches didn't expect you to win.
We had they had an idea that I was going to place in the top 3 because
Right.
my times, we had a swim meet before we went to Qatar
Okay.
a month before, and I did the time and they were like, you're going to place top 3, but no one thought that I was going to win the gold medal, especially with my age.
Right.
I was very, very young. So since then, since that moment, that day, it was December 18th, 2011. I still remember to
Nice.
that day. I was just like, I want to go to the Olympics. I know that I'm going to go. I need to go. I want to go. It was just a dream
Okay.
that I've wanted it since that day.
So winning that was the seed that then allowed you to believe I'm going to the Olympics
Yeah.
and I've got a chance.
It was my first games. Like I've been to Arab championships, not games.
Yeah.
So it was just like very exciting to go to like that big of a meet and win a gold medal.
Right.
It was just like, wow, like.
And how do you deal with that? Like it sounds amazing, right? And most people will never have that experience. But there must be challenges either before or after an experience like that.
Definitely. There was challenges because at that time I realized how amazing of an opportunity that I have being a fast swimmer in that age.
Right.
I realized that was like an amazing thing to have that I'm very grateful for.
Mm.
It was hard to maintain that and not get out of like my head of being in such a strong mindset to not lose that. And also one big thing that I always told myself and my parents would highlight for me was don't take too much pride in that. Like you have to work for it.
Okay.
You're not just gonna like win. You have to keep working for it. You have to keep working for it. Because sometimes when you're at that age, you're very young. You're like, oh, like I'm the best. Like I'm just like, you know what I
Right.
mean?
So they didn't let you sort of, in a way, inflate your ego and just think,
Yeah.
because I won the gold now, it's
yeah,
easy
like
sailing.
just like
Yeah.
you can like rest now. Like you're amazing. No, they were like, keep working for it. Like keep working hard. You can achieve more. You can do more. Don't just like walk around and be full of yourself. Like, no, that's like
Right,
something
right.
you worked for. That's something that your coaches helped you with. It's not just you. Like everyone
Okay.
helped you with
And
that.
this was coming from your family side?
Yes, my parents.
Wow.
Yeah, they were always pushing me
Okay.
to like not have a lot of ego, because like ego can like destroy everything. So
Yeah, I can imagine it now as a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Because there must be lots of people congratulating you, bigging you up, telling you
well,
you're the
I
you are the
literally
best.
came back to the
Yeah.
airport and there were people, cameras, everything.
Yeah.
And like when you're 15, you're like, wow, that's
But that
great.
must be nice as well, right?
Oh yeah, it was so nice. Not gonna lie. Yeah.
Okay, so at that point, like, did you change anything to do with your coaching? You obviously, your mindset was you were more clear on your goal, which was
Yeah.
the Olympics. So what then? How did you then work on that process to get to the Olympics? I guess if that was your dream.
Yeah. I was a very good athlete. I would do everything my coach would tell me. I trusted the process very much.
And your coach was here
In Egypt. Yeah,
Egyptian
I was still
coach in Egypt.
an Egyptian
Nice.
coach. I was not the kind of athlete that would ask questions. Like I would just like do whatever was said for me to do.
Okay.
Because I'm a person who wants like a coach to tell me what to do. So I would follow what the coaches would do.
I see.
I would trust the process. My mom was like always there for me, obviously. She would like push me. She would like try to find the best fitness coaches for me. So I was always trying to like find the best ways to maintain like my times and like my stroke and everything. But then when I was like basically 16, people started going to the US for college, for a scholarship to swim there, to like get their education there, because swimming there would be like better with education.
And US swimming is top of swimming, right? They're one of the better countries.
US?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best.
Okay.
US is the best in swimming.
Okay, so for you, the chance of going to the US to study and swim, that was an opportunity that you could get through
Yeah.
being a good swimmer in Egypt.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, Mom, like I wanna travel. I wanna like get my education there. I wanna get a scholarship. I wanna swim there. This is something that I really wanna do.
Okay.
And I'm an only girl. I have two brothers. I'm the youngest in my family.
Right.
So it was basically very hard for them to understand me like going away for like 5 years. Especially my dad. He was like, I don't know, like I don't know if this is gonna be safe for you. Like I can't I can't do that. You're
must
literally
be worrying.
my baby. Like even if you're like 40 years old, you're still like very young in my eyes. He was just very worried, but then they wanted to support me. They're like, if this is what you want, go for it. We're there for you. We support you 100%. At that time, I was only 16.
Yeah.
So I still had 2 more years of high school. So I had to study very, very hard to get like specific grades to...
Sorry, so when you're swimming at that level and you're studying, are you expected to swim around the school? As in, like, do you have to practice before school, after school, or
Yeah.
yeah? So that must be difficult in itself.
We would swim 9 times a week,
Right. Okay.
5 days in the morning and then 4 in the afternoon.
Okay.
That's not with dry land and lifting, so
Right.
it was an intense schedule.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a little bit too much. Yeah, but I would swim 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then I would go to school, and then after school I would swim again from 6 to 8, and then before I jump in the afternoon session I would have like an hour or an hour and a half for dry land. That's when I was in
So-
high school.
And what about a social life? Where did that fit?
It's not there.
Okay, so you do have to sacrifice
Oh yeah,
a lot to get there.
Yeah, I'm like now I'm 27 years old. Have so much FOMO because I feel like I've missed out on everything in my life.
Right.
That now I just like need to do it all. It's just it's very bad. It's
Okay.
not fun.
So now it's social time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm everywhere. I don't go home anymore.
Okay, so that journey to the US, like what happened? Like did you
How
get
did
there?
I get there?
You
and
did
everything?
get there, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
tell me.
Yeah. So the process is not very hard. You just like there's a website that you go on and you get the coach's email. You email the coach, hello, this is me. These are my times. I'm very interested in your program. And then he emails you back. Like I kept contacting like multiple schools.
Yeah.
Like I sent about like 20 emails, if not even more.
What was your first choice of school?
My first choice was the school I went to, UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Yeah.
Okay, and why? Why did you choose that school?
Because I just had a feeling from the coach's email that this is the person I want to be with.
Interesting.
He was very inviting in the way we never talked, we never saw each other, we just emailed each other. The way he emailed was just, I felt the energy that he was very excited and that he really wanted me to be there.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
That's actually how I met my wife. It's through
Oh,
emails.
really?
Yeah, and it was the same
Wow.
idea. We you're looking
You
at
just
the
felt
words
it.
and you can feel something.
Right?
Yeah.
And he turned out to be the person that influenced my whole life.
Wow.
And I literally never met him. It was just literally an email. I looked at it and I was like, I'm going there.
So you took a scholarship.
Yeah.
And what age were you then when you left
I was
Egypt?
18, turning 19.
And at that age, what had you achieved within Egypt? You obviously won
Give
the
me a
Arab
second.
Games.
Yeah.
So you had achievements. You obviously had a time. I mean, that's the great thing about swimming, right? For a coach, they just need to look at your time, and that tells everything.
Yeah.
Other sports are more tricky, right? We've got to watch you play a match and watch how you train. Okay, so you're 18, 19. You have to leave your family that sound really supportive.
Yeah, especially I'm like a very family person.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough.
And for them it must have been 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Like being a parent, I know how I would feel. So then you left to America basically because you'd made a connection through words with a coach.
Yeah.
And you had a gut feeling, and obviously they had a good
I
school.
left my family and I went to my second family.
Wow.
That was basically it.
So this was a turning point, right? Everyone has turning points.
Yeah.
Okay, so your goal when you went to the US, what was it?
That I want to go to the Olympics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Still
then-
the same thing.
And so what year were you going to the US, and what Olympics were you aiming for?
There was a World Champs in 2017 and I was just like, that's when we're going to start like qualifying to World Champs, and then like 3 years later we want to go to the Olympics. Like I was just like having a plan for myself with my coach, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what would you say when you went to the US and started swimming there? How different did that feel? Like, what's the difference between training there and training in your old academy, old club?
Family.
Well, obviously, yeah. No.
There was 75 of us and we were a big family.
Okay, so
And
within the
it's-
team, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
just my team. We were 75 people and all of us were one team, one family. And it's weird to say that because swimming is an individual sport.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
you think like it's only you and like you and your own lane, like there's no one there. But that's not true. Swimming is one of the most team sports ever.
But how do they bring you together then? If you're swimming by yourself, essentially.
We train together.
Okay.
Like every day we train together. We train together for 20 hours a week.
What's the most nerve-wracking bit before a race? Is it when you're about to start, or is it waiting to get in the pool? Like, when do you not care about when does the pressure go away?
So you know how for swimming you get on the block and then you bend down.
Yeah.
When you bend down, for me, when you
That's
bend
when you feel it.
that's when you're like,
Yeah.
it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your road to what was 2020? Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo.
Yeah. So
that was 2021.
yeah. Oh yeah. COVID.
Oh God, that
So-
was something else.
So what was the journey to the Olympics then? Tell me that
Oh,
bit of the
God.
story.
You ready?
Yeah. I might.
It was, oh my God. It was just, so in 2019, I just graduated. I graduated December of 2019. And then Olympics is 7 months later because it's in the summer of 2020.
Okay.
So we went to US Open. It's a meet in the US. Me, my coach, and a couple of other teammates. And he was like, no pressure. We're just here to see where we're at the season. We're just like trying to see if the program we've been doing for the past like 6 months is working. I don't expect anything from you. Let's go to Georgia and have fun and like no pressure. I'm not expecting anything from you, because in 4 months I was gonna have African Games and African Championships, and that's where I was gonna qualify from for Tokyo. So he was like, let's go have fun. Let's see where we're at. So we went, and it was unreal. I broke like my 800 free record by like 4 seconds.
In swimming, that's a lot, right?
Yeah. And then I touched the wall and I look at him and I was like, what just happened?
And
he's
where's this, in Georgia?
Yeah, we were in Georgia
Okay.
for US Open. And I touched the wall and I look at him and I was like, what just happened? And he's like, I have no idea, you're crazy. And then 2 days later, I swam the 1500 freestyle and I broke 16 seconds of my own record and the Egyptian record.
Okay.
And it was just like, you know, when you're like, this is really happening, we're really going to the Olympics, because I became so much closer to the qualifying times.
Yeah.
So he's like, we have 4 more months. We're really going. This is really happening. And it was just like the best meet of my life. It was amazing. It was so much fun. No pressure. We just had the best time. It was amazing. It's literally the best memory for me in swimming. And then we go back to Maryland because that's where we were training.
Yeah.
That was in December of 2019. Jan, we were training. Feb, we're training. March.
Here we go.
Yeah, I was like, we were only a month out of African Championships. And I looked at Chad, my coach, March 17th or 16th, something around that. And I was like, Chad, I think I'm going to go home. My parents are booking me a flight tomorrow to go home. And he's like, I don't understand why you're doing that. This is going to be over in 2 weeks. Like, the Olympics are not going to get postponed. Like, you need to stay here. Don't go home. And my dad was just like, come
This is
home.
as America was talking about locking down, was it? Or
Not yet. Like, they were just like, they were like, I think they were locking, but we were still training.
Yeah. No, yeah. It came a couple of weeks after that, didn't it?
Yeah. I think like March 27th,
Yeah.
around that time. My dad is a doctor. He was like, come home.
Okay.
This is going to be bad. I went home. I was heartbroken because, you know, when you reach, like, I came from very far away. Like, yes, I had that dream to go to the Olympics, but it was literally a dream. And I reached a level in swimming that I never thought I would get there. So and in swimming, if you don't swim for 2 days,
Your performance drops as soon as you take a bit of time off.
your performance drops like right away.
Okay.
You have to keep swimming. You have to be moving, especially in the water. Like, you lose the feel of the water if you're not swimming for
Right.
like 3 days.
So you're leaving in the US. You've got a couple of months to basically qualify for the Olympics. You have to go home, basically, back to Egypt.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
I was there March, April, May. June, things started open up in Egypt, but I still couldn't go to the US because there was no training. Oh God. And then I started training, but I was in the worst mindset ever, because I know I've not been training for 3 months.
Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna get back to my level. It's gonna take such a long time to get back. I was in the worst mindset ever.
And you're here in an Egyptian
I was still in
swimming
Egypt,
pool
yeah.
now, and you got a new coach, or you're by yourself?
Swimming by myself, because at that time, like, I'm still trying to like understand what's going on. Chad is not like really coaching because there's a lot of uncertainty in the US, and he has a team that he's preparing for because school was starting in August.
Yeah.
So he was like overwhelmed. Everyone was overwhelmed with what's going on. So I was just like trying to swim because I have to. But I was in the worst mindset. I was like, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm never going to get back to my level. It was so heartbreaking because I could see the Olympics right in front of me, but I couldn't touch it. And it was just like so hard to be in that mindset. And then I called my coach and I was like, do you think if I come back in August, will you be able to train me with that much uncertainty and like your team and the rules and everything? And he was like, of course, like, you're my swimmer. Because at that time, I'm not on the team anymore. I graduated, so I'm not swimming for the school anymore. And he was like, yes, of course, come. Like, this is our dream. We're going to keep, like, trying to go. I know it's going to be hard at this time, but just come back, and we'll see what we can do.
Right.
I went back in August. It was not the ideal situation at all. There was no weight rooms open. I couldn't do any dry land, or I couldn't lift. I couldn't do anything because that was still the heart of the COVID-19. I was just swimming 6 times. I used to swim 9 times.
Right.
So, like, how come you're, like, training for the Olympics when you're swimming way less than you used to? And then I went to another US Open. That's a year later. And that's when competition was starting to come back. I was not in a very good mindset. I knew I was not going to do well. I knew my times were not going to be.
So what I want to know is, did you get to the Olympics?
I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I didn't. After
Okay.
all that.
Tell us why.
Okay, so I went back. Chad, my coach, had a lot of going on in December, and I was still in the US at the time.
Okay.
One day at practice, he was like, I need to tell you something. I'm not coaching anymore. Oh, God. there's been some things happening. I'm not coaching. And at that time, I was scheduled to go home for like a 2-week vacation and then come back to train for the Olympics. And he was like, I know you're going home, but I don't think you can come back because I'm not coaching at UMBC anymore.
Okay.
I went home. Chad was everything to me. He was my best friend. He was my coach. He changed my life.
Wow.
He was amazing. He was everything to me. I went home. The federation, I was in a very bad mindset. I'm 6 months out of trials and I have no coach. I have nothing. They were like, I was like, I'm not swimming anymore. Chad is not coaching. And at that time, I've been training with him for 5 years. So at that time, I could not accept anyone to coach me but him.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not swimming anymore. I'm done with this. And they're like, you cannot do that. You're very close to qualifying. You can't do that. We'll do everything for you to like go to the Olympics, pick anywhere you want to go in the world, and we'll send you there for like a camp.
This is the federation?
Yeah, that's Egyptian Federation.
Nice.
And then we kept like contacting coaches. We found a coach in South Africa that is training the national team. He's a very good distance coach.
Yeah.
We reset everything with him. And then like in a month, in February, I was in South Africa. On February 12th, I was there for a 4-month swim camp because trials were in June of 2021. I was going to stay there for the whole 4 months. February 12th, I get to South Africa. I feel something is wrong with my stomach. I call my dad. He's a doctor. I was like, I think there's something wrong. And he's like, well, take this and this. The next day, I wake up, go to practice. I'm not feeling well.
Right.
I go home. And then on the 14th, I wake up and this side of my stomach is all the way out.
What?
Yeah.
So a lump or?
It was just out.
Like swollen?
Yeah. And I knew at the time it was appendicitis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I go to the hospital.
Yeah.
I have not, the coach that I was going to South Africa, I haven't met him yet because he was somewhere in South Africa and he was coming back on the 14th. I'm literally by myself. I don't know anyone in this country. I've been here for 48 hours and I'm in an ER freaking out, not knowing what's wrong with me. I know it's appendicitis, but like, what is happening? And the tests come back and they're like, oh, you don't just have appendicitis. You have a cyst that is exploded in your stomach and you have to do an emergency surgery right now or you're going to die. I literally look at her. I'm like, I just went silent.
And this is all happening when you only have 4 months to prepare?
Yes. I look at the doctor. I call my parents. My parents are freaking out. They're losing their minds.
Yeah.
I'm literally across the world in a country they don't know anyone in. They can't call anybody. They can't talk to anybody. I do the surgery, and then I'm in the hospital for 4 days, and I'm like, I need to go home now. 2 days later, I went home. I'm literally on a wheelchair. I'm not even walking. That's end of February. At this time, I'm 4 months out. All the signs are telling me, it's over, you're not going. And then I'm physically not okay. I'm mentally not okay.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's over. The dream's over. That's it. A week later, one of my teammates from school, from college, FaceTimes me. And she knows how close me and Chad were. And she knows how he impacted my life. And she's like, I'm so sorry to tell you that Chad has passed away.
No way.
Yeah, and I just, at that time...
How old was he?
He was 45 years old. And it was just, at that time, I went in a very dark place. I was just like, I'm done with this. I lost my best friend. I couldn't help him with what he was going through. I couldn't do anything. I feel helpless. My life is over. I was crying all day, all night. I was not myself. And
you're still in South Africa?
No, I went home.
You're back home?
Yeah, I went home.
Okay.
And then a voice in me kept telling me that you have to keep going. You can't give up on yourself. But obviously, I'm not okay. My stomach is literally cut open. But something in my head told me if Chad was here, he would want you to do this. And I literally have no coach. We are talking now in the end of March. the federation was like, you can't give up. You need to keep going. Just, you're very close. You're going to make it. Just swim, like do whatever, do anything. And you're going to go to trials and we know you're going to make it. And then out of nowhere, a coach from the US contacts me and he texted me, he's like, I know that you and Chad were training for the Olympics and I know how special you were for him. I want to do this. I want to do this for you. Coach Mike, he literally saved my life. I want to do this for you. I want to do this for Chad. Chad was amazing. He wanted this for you. Let's do this. I'm going to coach you. And I started training on the 27th of March. And at that time, we're 6 weeks out of a 10K Olympic trials. I'm literally, it's just, I don't want to say that in a bad way, but in the back of my head, I knew it was not going to happen.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to regret anything.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it all the way, and I wanted to look back in 10 years and say, I had a chance, and I took that chance.
You went for it.
And I didn't give up on myself.
Nice.
And I didn't give up on my dream. Trials, they come. I'm at this point, when I was putting my swimsuit on, I was like, you won. You won. You went to the Olympics. Either you make it or not. You did go. You're very strong. And I was talking to myself. I was like, you don't have to put any expectations on yourself. You've done it all. Either you go or not, you still won. I swim the 10K. I lost the race on at the 5K mark I lost because I had to be top African to qualify. And the girl from Algeria beat me at the 5K mark. And I knew she passed me. And I really tried, but I couldn't. I was literally crying for the next 5K. I was swimming, crying, but I couldn't give up on myself. I really couldn't. I swim for my country, and I can't do that for my country. It's under my name. I can't do that for my career. I touch 2 hours later. I get out of the water, the ocean. I look out and I see the Algerian girl there, and that's when now I officially knew I didn't make it. I look at her and I'm so happy and I'm so excited for her. I say, I'm so happy for you. Congrats, you deserve this. And that time I was like, I'm done.
Wow.
I'm not swimming anymore.
Wow.
I'm very happy with this journey, and yeah, that's it. That's the story. And
Hania,
Chad was with me the whole time.
Amazing, amazing. These are the moments when, like, you see true, like, what sport can do for character. Right? Yeah. In a way, that story is more impressive than if you hadn't had that and you'd won.
Exactly. That's what I always keep telling
Yeah.
myself. Like, if I had the right conditions, I could have easily gone, and then what?
No. And now I know why you want to coach.
Yes. Yes. I don't ever want anyone to like go through what I went through.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
actually, that leads me to my last question, which is, now you are a coach.
Yeah.
And your sole responsibility now is to get the young up-and-coming swimmers to get to the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Or to get in the water and enjoy swimming. Mm-hmm. But your role is more in development into performance.
Yeah.
So now you're a coach, now you're thinking like a coach, what do you think, in sort of bullet points, what would be where you're going to focus with your swimmers to give them the best chance of becoming wherever they want to be in swimming?
It's one thing and one thing only. It's mindset and loving the sport. My life changed when Chad changed my mindset. When he made me look at swimming as a game and not as a pressure.
Love it.
Yeah, he told me that once you start loving this, your life is going to change and you're going to see magic. And that's exactly when every practice, I would come to practice. And I would see practice as a challenge that is a fun challenge. And magic happened. I was qualified to 2 world champs. I broke 3 Egyptian records. I won 8 gold African medals because I loved the sport and I had fun. So my main focus is going to be loving the sport, being in the right mindset, accepting yourself in every stage, and not being ashamed of your losses, but be proud of them and learn from them, because that's what they're going to make you.
Wow. Well, I feel very privileged to hear that story and to be working with you.
Thank you.
And yeah, it just shows what the KODE team is about, right?
Yeah, well, the KODE team is a very strong team. The world is not ready for what's coming.
Excellent. Well, Hania, I've really enjoyed listening to your story. And
thank you. Thank you for giving me the chance.
Yeah, and I think Egypt is proud of you.
Thank you.
We're proud to have you on the team, and we're very excited to see where our swimming academy goes.
Oh, it's going places.
I can't wait. Okay, well, thank you for the conversation.
Thank you so much.
All right,
thank
cheers.
you.
Bye.